Hi, this is a game that we like to call Toxic, and it's a game in development for our class Network Games in University of Southern California. My name is Osman Kaan Demiroz, and this game we're making it in a team of 4 students, and you can see all the team members in the description below. So the purpose of the game and the project is that, as you may already know, Unity has its own networking layer. And as a part of the class, and as a part of the project, we wanted to explore how we can create our own networking layer. So we started off with using Unity's high-level API, with using its own network manager, assigning network identities, network transforms to objects, and they would be all component-based, and they would, as players and objects are moving around, they would all be synchronized and passed around. So we started with this, and then we decided to completely overhaul this and create our own networking infrastructure. So what we wanted to do is we create our own server-to-client communication, create our own messages, our own message handlers, and our own network transmission rates, specify everything custom. So now we actually got rid of everything that is in the networking Unity's high-level API, and now we created our own custom network manager, which has its own connections, its own variables, and we wanted to do everything from scratch. And now we have our own custom network IDs assigned to objects, and the only thing now that's left that is from Unity is actually only just packet sending method, which is like a send packet. And it takes our message, it takes its byte array data, and just takes the socket and port information as just sends the data. So that is the only thing left that we're still using from Unity, and aside from that, everything we just made from scratch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Unity instance as our server. So I'm just going to run this. So we have this basic loading screen. We have a way to enter our credentials and log into the game. I'm not going to do it in this case because I just want to start a local server. So when I do this, I basically go to an overhead view of our map. This is a basic map that we just created for testing. And I created 2 client instances here. Just going to move it like this so we have a way to see all of them clearly. So I'm just going to log in with my name, so call it Kaan. And here we can see a server list. As you can see, the first entry is a localhost lobby. This is actually there by default because currently we know all clients can have their own localhost servers, and I just created here on this Unity instance. And on the second client, I'm going to log in as Kaan2, and we see the same server list. Aside from joining this localhost, we can actually create our own new server, a new game instance. So I can call this test game. And actually, before submitting this, I want to show what this would actually do. This server list is actually currently read from a remote URL, which is tied to our University of Southern California server that we got for our class. And this is actually a public URL that we're currently using that just has this suffix lobby. And as you can see, we have the localhost lobby still there. It's by default there. And as I refresh the game, the page, you're going to see that it is the same. So if I actually go to our server list and if I create this test game, it is going to appear on this server list as the clients are refreshed. And what we actually did is that if I refresh the page, we created this new element. And this is a JSON string, by the way. And the clients are actually reading this JSON array to find out which games are available. And every time we create a new game, the server that is remote creates a new instance of the game running in the server. And here we can see some variables we can use, such as the name, some player information, the host, the port, and for demonstration purposes though, we're gonna just log into the localhost. So I'm gonna log in with my first character by double clicking, and as you can see now, I logged in with my player. You can see it on the server side as well. I can move around, I can rotate. We have some basic animations as we're walking around. We also found a way to create our own, instead of snapping behavior, we have an interpolation, because the transforms are actually not sent in every frame. We just send it actually in every 9th of a second, but depending on the connection and our starting and ending location, we interpolate between these locations. As you can see, we have a custom basic UI. It shows our name, our health, ammo, weapon, and at the top we have a basic minimap. So our weapon and our fire, when we fire our weapon, it is actually, instead of like a bullet, we kind of spawn this shell, or kind of like an egg, that is an egg for this creature. And now if we spawn it, if we fire it on like a terrain or any kind of object, they're just gonna disappear after, they're gonna decay after like a few seconds. Let me actually just log in with the second player as well. So as you can see, my second player is over there. We see them both on the server. So, and when I'm firing, it's just firing some shells. That these actually do not do any damage on contact, but if I hit with my weapon the enemy player, this egg is actually going to attach to the player, and it is, instead of doing an instant damage, it's going to start sucking out its life slowly. And after sucking off like 3 times, which are all 5 damage, after doing this for like 3 times, it's gonna actually get enough life energy, let's say. It's gonna feed enough that it will come out and spawn this other creature that will be a slime that the player will have to deal with. So let's hit him, and then we have this damage animation, and as you can see, we have spawned this other slime that just came out of this, and it's gonna start following him. It's gonna start chasing, and what this other player will have to do is shoot it to kill the slime. In this case, all the shooting and collision detection is done by the server, even though when we shoot, the local player actually creates its own instant simulation. So instead of when we shoot waiting for the server to acknowledge that yes, you indeed shot, we create our own local simulation, but the collision detection is done by the server. So if I actually hit something, the server is going to tell me your bullet collided in this location, so create the egg object there. Now let's see what would happen if we, let's say, shoot him twice, and then we get all the blobs attaching, and then let's say we were able to kill one of them, but let's say we missed the second one. So we killed one of them, but we were not able to kill the second. So if it hits us, then it's gonna do a much larger damage, which is 30 in this case, and it's gonna start just feasting on our flesh, let's say. In this case, we can still kill them if we want, but for now they're not gonna do anything else. We plan to add another feature where this might, after like eating for a while, this will also grow and become an even larger threat. Maybe it will be harder to kill, it will maybe do even more damage later on. But so let's say we can also kill them. So we have some other gameplay mechanics, let's say, as well, where when we shoot stuff and they are on the ground, we can actually shoot on top of them, and they will create this projectile effect. So we can do some crazy stuff like about this, if we can bounce our projectiles on top of them. And another thing we can do is, if we, for example, go to this area, what we can do is we can fire our blobs, right? And we know they're going to disappear in some short time, but what we can do is we can actually jump on them and use this as a way to reach otherwise inaccessible areas. So I just use this to climb the wall. So yeah, for example, let's say we fell down here, we can use this ability to jump down. Or let's say we're running away from an enemy, and then we are in this, for example, corner. For example, let's say if we didn't have this kind of gap and we want to jump down, we can just quickly use the blobs to run away. And as you can see on the player, I'm kind of low on health, so we can also use the health pack to get our health back to 100. And these are also, just want to say, these are all done over the server. So when we fire a blob, we actually send a message to fire a blob on the server, and then the server creates multiple instances of this creation message and sends it all to all clients, so they will all replicate this same blob. And when we for example collide with a slime, then this message will be also distributed to all clients, and it will say that this slime collided with this player, so their health will go down. And as you can see, all the animations are also networked. And actually another feature we have is, as we press enter, we create a chat window and we can actually talk. So we can say hello, and it will appear on the other character, and we can reply, say hi. And we have like this kind of UI. And we can also reload using R. But yeah, basically we have this kind of gameplay that we're currently working on, and we're trying to network all of these. And as I said, these are all done using our new custom network layer that we created from scratch. Instead of using anything with the Unity's own high-level API, we created our own network layer, and we're just doing all of these using, we send messages, and the clients also call their own message handlers and use this as a way to create behavior. Okay, thank you for watching.